Have you noticed that almost everything has a price? A house, a degree, a promotion, a vacation, a car. Eventually, we start believing that we have a price too. That maybe if we become successful enough, beautiful enough, wealthy enough, productive enough, popular enough, then we will finally feel enough. I believe that for years that my worth was tied to my career, my appearance, money, relationships, social media, achievements. Every time one of those things went well, I felt valuable. And every time one of them didn't, I started questioning myself. Until one day, I realized something that completely changed my life. Worth isn't something you build. Worth is something you remember. And today I want to remind you of something that the world has spent your entire life trying to make you budget. From the moment we're born, we're measured. Grades, awards, followers, income, job titles, relationships, achievements. And slowly, without even realizing it, we start believing that our value rises and falls based on those measurements. We spend years chasing the next accomplishment, believing that once I get there, I will finally feel enough. But have you ever noticed something? Every destination just creates another destination. Every goal creates another goal. Every finish line creates another finish line. Because the problem was never the destination. The problem was believing that your worth was tied to the destination. For years, I doubted myself more than I trusted myself. Every setback felt personal. Every delay felt like proof. Every setback became evidence that maybe I wasn't good enough. Then one realization changed everything. We are all works in progress. Every single one of us. There will always be another lesson, another skill, another level to reach, another opportunity to grow. And if that's true, when were we planning to finally become worthy? I realized something. The destination was never supposed to determine my value. The growth was. Audrey Hepburn was admired across the world for her beauty. But when people that knew her spoke of her, they rarely started there. They spoke about her kindness, her generosity, her compassion, her humility. Because beauty fades, titles change, success comes and goes. Character remains. Your greatest value has never been what people see. It's who you choose to become. One of the greatest mistakes we make is using other people's lives to measure our own. We compare our beginning to someone else's middle, our struggles to someone else's highlight reel, our insecurity to someone else's confidence. But we weren't created to become copies. We were created to discover our own uniqueness every single day. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs a version of you that only you can become. Fred Rogers spent decades telling children something that adults desperately need to hear. I like you just the way you are. Imagine if you believed that about yourself. Not after you achieved your goals, not after you lost weight, not after you earned more money, not after people finally understood you. Today, exactly as you are. Because self-worth doesn't stop you from growing. It gives you the courage to continue without believing you're broken. One of the most freeing thoughts I've ever had is this. The version of me that already accomplished everything I've dreamed of exists already inside of me. I'm not creating her. I'm uncovering her. Every courageous decision, every disciplined habit, every difficult conversation, every challenge doesn't create my worth. It reveals more of who I've always been. The moment I stopped trying to earn my worth, I started trusting the process. I became more patient, more compassionate, more consistent, because I stopped treating every setback as a verdict. I learned to appreciate every season of my life, not because every season was easy, but because every season was helping me become more myself. Jane Austen faced rejection before the world celebrated her writing. Imagine if she would have decided that rejection meant she wasn't valuable. The stories the world treasures today might have never existed. Recognition doesn't create value. Recognition reveals what was already there. And the same is true for you. Your gifts don't become real when someone applauds them. They become visible. There's a difference. So why do so many people believe they're not enough? Because they have been told that constantly in millions of tiny different ways their entire life. Advertisements, comparisons, criticism, rejection, social media, perfection. Little by little, they stop asking, who am I? And they start asking, what do I need to become to be enough? That question can never be answered because it starts from a lie. If somebody watching this believes that they'll only be enough after becoming successful, I want you to remember something. People don't see your value first. You do. The relationship you have with yourself teaches the world how to treat you. So get to know yourself. Fall in love with your quirks. Be patient with your mistakes. Celebrate your growth. Be compassionate with yourself, with every version of you that helped you get there. Because every version of you was learning. Every version of you was trying. Every version of you deserves kindness. You stop chasing your worth the moment you realize it's been inside of you all along. You don't become more worthy when you succeed. You succeed more freely. When you remember, you already are. Worth isn't built, it is remembered. And the moment you remember yours, your entire life begins to change.